Hello and welcome to the Dead Spot Cinema Club, the podcast where we guide each other through cinematic journeys we really should have taken a long time ago. We pick those big, famous movies everyone talks about, the ones where someone says, "You haven't seen that," and suddenly you feel like you've failed at being a human being. We find the poor soul in our group who's never seen it and get them to watch it. So please join me, Amy, along with Andy.
Oh, sorry, Master.
Reese.
Hello.
And Mark.
I didn't finger anyone in Westminster up.
As we unravel the Da Vinci Code. Based on Dan Brown's best-selling 2003 novel, The Da Vinci Code hit cinemas in 2006, directed by Ron Howard. By this point, he'd already conquered space with Apollo 13, done mental math with A Beautiful Mind, and a full green furry Jim Carrey with The Grinch. Its budget was a staggering $125 million, and that investment paid off, the film grossing over $760 million worldwide, making it one of the highest-grossing films from 2006. Now, this film is not to be confused with the other 2006 film that came out 4 days later, also with Da Vinci in the title, which, yes, is a real thing. I looked it up. Surprisingly, that did not do as well as this film. Upon release, The Da Vinci Code was surrounded by controversy, adapted from one of the fastest-selling novels in history, with critics divided but audience flocking to see it. Love it or hate it, it's undeniably a cultural touchstone of the 2000s. I definitely remember when it came out. I think I read the book first, but I'm not 100% sure. Either way, it kicked off a bit of a Dan Brown phase for me. One of my clearest memories is being in France about age 14, spotting a copy of this book in French, obviously, realising for the first time that I actually recognised a book in a different language, which was quite interesting, and I felt quite worldly for about 5 minutes. So, Andy, have you seen this?
So, I've never read the book of the Da Vinci Code, and I didn't actually see it when it first came out. I saw it a fair few years later because I wasn't caught up in the hype. Probably because you made me watch it, Amy. Yeah, I've seen it. I think I've got my opinion of the film, but yeah, I've got no emotional attachment to it. It's just a film that I've seen.
Reese?
Yeah, so I've seen this definitely a couple of times, maybe more than that. So I have a pretty good memory that, when I watch this again, I think it'll all be familiar to me, but I wouldn't be able to recall lots of specific scenes now. But I saw it soon after it came out and enjoyed it. I don't want to give away too much for Mark. But yeah, then went on to watch the sequels and we'll talk about them later, maybe, if it's appropriate. But yeah, I've seen it a couple of times because I think each time I've watched it, I've enjoyed it a little bit more.
Mark, so I take it you're the one who hasn't seen it? Do you have any idea what it is you're going to be watching?
Yeah, as suggested, I have never seen this film or any of the sequels. So the impression I get, it's some kind of National Treasure-ish, globe-trotting, solving Renaissance riddles to find some kind of treasure that Da Vinci may or may not have planted. That's all I'm getting from the title.
Okay. Any predictions off that? Or
So I know Tom Hanks is in it. I've seen some pop culture parodies of it where monks are whipping themselves a lot. That's pretty much it. I'm expecting similar sort of tone to National Treasure, a little bit tongue-in-cheek at times, but mostly trying to be serious about conspiracy theories, which in my head can't happen. I guess I'm expecting the protagonist to be one of those super smart guys who is smarter than the person who wrote them. So they're going to do some things that just appear like magic. Like he just suddenly knows something and everyone goes, wow, how does he do that? He's so smart. But because the writer was not as smart as him, he can't figure out how he did it either. So he's just sort of made it happen. Those sort of tropes I'm expecting. But yeah, when this film came out, I don't know if I was just contrarian at the time, but I just wasn't that interested in going to see it. I did like National Treasure. I like films like that. So I don't know why I never went to see it, but I just didn't seem that interested. I like Tom Hanks and pretty much everything Tom Hanks is in.
Okay, has anyone got any warnings for Mark for this? And anything you think he's going to find offensive?
Tom Hanks' hair.
Oh God, yeah. I think I've seen the poster. Isn't it like a mullet?
I wish I could say that it was of the time, but it wasn't. I think Mark is going to really struggle with something. He's kind of alluded to it already, the level it operates on intellectually compared to what it's striving for. I think just if you can go in with a little bit of an open mind to that, don't don't get too hung up on like accuracy or just any fact. All right, just
Don't worry about facts; they're not important in this film. Is what you're saying?
Okay, so right, yeah. Put history aside.
put history aside, put etymology aside, put geography aside. Just any of those like subjects from school, just put them aside.
I mean, because historical accuracy is quite important to me, as we discussed in like Gladiator and things. It's something I do try to look at, and I enjoy films more if they're more accurate. So maybe that's what put me off. But.
Okay. On that note, I think it's time to go off and watch it. Do that now, and we'll come back to you when we're all done. Bye. Okay, everyone, so welcome back. We've all been and watched the film. I just want to double check we've all watched the extended edition.
Is that the 2-hour 54-minute one?
It is. Whether that was too long, I'm sure we'll get into that. Mark, it was you that hadn't watched it, so what do you think?
Yeah, I tried to keep an open mind when I went in, avoid being cynical, but it was difficult. I avoided the film and the books when they came out just because I'd heard they were a bit corny. I've heard the book described as accessible and broad appeal as a polite ways of saying they're dumbed down some bits. I expected somewhere between National Treasure and the Bourne films.
Alphabetically, you got that.
I was a bit impressed at times. I think it did a good job at some bits, but I think we'll get into that.
So, should we just go from the start? Scene 1, Act 1.
When I went to press play on the film and I saw it was 2 hours 54, I knew exactly how Reese felt when we asked him to watch Lord of the Rings.
Thank you.
No way this film could be nearly 3 hours long. How much content could there be?
It's only like 8 paintings.
Well,
Honestly, I was quite surprised by that as well, because I remember this being like an hour and 10 minutes.
Yeah, I was expecting 90 minutes.
Yeah, I thought that too. I was like, I'll go back and check the non-extended edition, because I remember this being your average 88 minutes. Even the non-extended was like 2 hours. I was like, why did I ever watch this so many times?
yeah.
How did they get another hour of content that was cut?
I feel,
Wow.
I feel like I must have never watched the extended before, and it was a lot. But I also couldn't work out what was new and what was part
I was
of
going to say what was actually
I had no idea.
what was in this that wasn't. It's just more shots of the Tom Hanks looking concerned. It's great. Yeah, the film opens. You got an older man running in a gallery while the paintings watch, seemingly. He activates the security system, but the gate won't stop the gun of Latino albino Paul Bettany. The guy decides to tell him the secret that he's been looking for, but we don't get to hear it. I mean, I had subtitles on, so I saw bits about Rose line, but I don't know if you're meant to hear that because it was kind of mumbled in French? ?
Spanish?
Or something?
It wasn't in the subtitles of what I was watching. So it was just background noise.
European. That's what we'll call it.
European, yeah. You hear him mumbling. The albino Paul Bettany's out to get a secret from him. He runs, he tries his best to get away, he locks himself away, he gives up the secret anyway, and then gets shot anyway, surprising absolutely no one. It then cuts fairly abruptly to Tom Hanks as Professor Robert Langdon, Professor of Religious Symbology at Harvard.
Totally real job, that. Totally real.
What is a symbol? And he's giving a lecture on the interpretation of symbols. And then it keeps coming back to the old man dying in the gallery while he's talking. So there's some suggestion that Robert, who we will now only refer to as Tom Hanks, he's a man who likes sort of rituals and preparations. So he's adjusting his notes, checking his microphone, pouring himself a drink, rubbing his hands, like his little ritual. And then he says, symbols are a language. Don't most languages use symbols in an alphabet of some rather than symbols being a language?
Well, his definition, based on the backdrop in his presentation, is that anything you can see is a symbol. Because it goes from like letters and pictures all the way to like how somebody is stood.
I mean, there's some truth to that, isn't there? But yeah, I mean, it's not not the wisest observation.
Yeah, where do you narrow down your field of study if that's what a symbol is?
Yeah, he also does body language. He also does semaphore.
Semaphore.
Yeah, he starts his lecture. A picture says 1,000 words, but which words? Which is exactly the kind of line I expected from this film, to be honest. And he just calls out the audience for being dumb. Basically, he says like, "Oh, look, KKK robes worn by Catholics in Spain. The swastika used to mean peace." These are things you used to say to sound smart when you're like 16, right?
Psychology 101. That's what it is.
This is like, year 8 level, trying to impress your mates. Like, actually, did you know?
Yeah, audience at Harvard going, "Wow, I didn't know that."
They're at a conference about symbols, and the first picture they see is just a hood, which it wasn't even like explicitly a KKK hood or anything. Obviously, it isn't, but like that's a really vague starting point. And then to just be like, "What do you think of when you see this?" And everyone's immediately like, "Hey, racism!" You're like, guys, you're in this lecture. You expecting this to be just a plain answer? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It's dumbed down for the audience, but like he's not giving the audience any credit whatsoever. So after the lecture, he goes to a book signing. Guy approaches, explains he's with the French FBI.
The French BI.
So you find out the old guy running through the gallery was a friend of his, and he's been found covered in these markings. And they want him to go and read it. Cut again to Paul Bettany in trouble with his boss. So he starts whipping himself. This is the part I mentioned in the pre-watch of Monk whipping himself. I was like, I've seen this before. Was this in Scary Movie or something?
This is from... You've seen this in Epic Movie. Because
I don't remember watching
this is what I asked in the pre-watch if you'd seen Epic Movie, and you said no, but Epic Movie has this character in it, and he's just like walking down a corridor chasing someone while whipping himself.
Yeah.
That's what you've seen.
Wait,
okay.
Are we going past the part where he just shows crime scene photos in the middle of the book signing for everyone to see?
It's waiting in the queue with their books. He sort of looks at it like a poker card a little bit, but yeah, it just gets handed to him across a crowd.
There are so many people behind him that can see.
We're going to keep this on a down low. We don't want to spread panic. Have you seen this? So the guy from Leon is a grumpy cop at the Louvre. Love? I've always said love. Love.
Louvre.
The Louvre.
The Louvre, yeah.
The fucking museum.
It's like the aviary is where you keep birds, the Louvre is where you keep love. Yeah.
You know, Tom Hanks is sharing some facts with him, wants to dump his knowledge, show how smart he is, points some stuff out, and he just doesn't give a shit, including his pyramid fact. And then you get this bit where he's scared to go in the elevator, and you get the impression he's scared of small spaces. Like, there's so much backstory and exposition just being dumped on us straight away. It's like, this guy is smart, and he is scared of small spaces. They're things I know about him so far.
And does it get paid off at any point in the film that he's scared of small spaces?
No, it does. There's some point later on where it's like brought up again. I can't remember what now. Towards the end, he has to go and sit in a small space.
Yeah, there is a part later on where he's also scared to be in a small space a couple of times, but
He does it because he's a big, brave boy.
and then he tells the captain he just recognizes a flaw from the Polaroid he saw earlier, and he's just showing off how observant he is. But then seeing his dead mate shut him up, which was nice. He was just dumping information, and everyone looked tired of him already in the scene.
Wait, I was tired of him at this point already.
He does just talk and just...
Yeah. So Doc Ock was getting practice interview on a plane, and this is just like a device to give some backstory to the audience. We're a simple church, Opus Dei, which is basically God's mafia, ? So the body goes back to the body, and he's laid out like the Vitruvian Man, and then he has to mention that's one of Leonardo da Vinci's famous sketches. Again, that is like common knowledge. Like most people would recognize Vitruvian Man or know what Vitruvian Man is if you said it.
These are people who work in and around the Louvre.
Just that the writer has no faith that the audience is intelligent enough to be following along at this point. He's like,
He thinks the people have gone to watch this without even Googling who Da Vinci is.
So they're examining for clues the police may have missed, and they find UV writing, which feels very unrealistic as he's bleeding to death on the floor in a time of peril. How did he just take a UV marker
This
out
guy,
and start
this guy set up an escape room while he was dying.
while bleeding it out.
He's bleeding out. And if the calculations he had to do as to how far he can get and how much blood he can lose and what time he's got to lay these clues, ridiculous. Like, has he had this done in advance? Like, all the writing was already there? Or has he gone around while he was bleeding, drawing this out? Because what if he just died halfway through and he's just taking him to like 3 different pictures, and then it just stops because he's dying.
I was say, am I also right in thinking that he leaves blood at each painting, but not between each painting?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. They had to know which painting to get to, and then there was like a dot of blood to confirm they'd gotten it right.
Like he gone, boop, that one.
Little flourish of blood.
What order did he do them in? So did he go to like the last one first and then work his way back? Because if he died doing it like the way he wants them to find it, there would be no ending.
And did he already have the anagrams in his head, or was he like, oh shit, what's a good anagram for this? Like, just while losing blood.
You know what? Let's make some anagrams just in case I get killed.
Mm-hmm.
And
I
very
leave a
slowly
clue for my
bleed out.
friend.
Yeah.
In this exact place.
Just in case the people who find me, they've got a UV light and they found the first 3 clues. The next few still need to be equally obscure so that they can't solve them.
And as long as my friend, the puzzle master's in town, they'll solve this.
See, you've just made me realise that I'm really fucking dumb. I thought he'd written it in his blood when he was going around not having a fucking UV pen or whatever, because there's no blood to see, is there? So it had to be written in some sort of pen. So did he just keep that with him?
So he happened to have something to write in UV, and someone happened to have a UV torch to check.
There is something else that only shows up under UV light that you've always got available.
We see no pen, and he is naked. Wait,
Just saying.
how easy is it to get naked while you're bleeding out? It can't be the easiest thing in the world.
Really easy.
Just undoing buttons while you got blood on your hands is pretty hard.
In my experience, most of them are naked before. I mean,
So the UV light reveals the Fibonacci sequence on the floor, which was very big into conspiracy and mystery in the early 2000s.
at the time, didn't it? That was really,
Everyone was into Fibonacci for a bit.
Yeah, I love that bit when I was just all about the Fibonacci. I don't know.
it's like now it's kind of Dubai chocolate, but it was around 2008. It was Fibonacci sequence.
You just tell your friends on Insta that you're doing Fibonacci's again.
Get ready with me while I go and write Fibonacci sequences on the wall of the Louvre.
So the only female actor with lines for most of the film turns up. The plot thickens and she says she doesn't trust the captain. We are to trust her instead. So he does. Because she appreciates art like him, so she's the good guy.
No one that likes art could ever be bad.
Oh, yeah.
The Nazis never took art, did they?
No. Think I know her name now, but she's literally...
Princess Sophia. P.S. obviously, guys.
Yeah, Princess Sophia.
Yes.
Princess Sophia.
Because that could only mean Princess Sophie.
For 90% of the film plus, there are no other female actors at all.
No.
So it sounds like he's being set up as a patsy for the murder, and I can't tell now if that's malicious or whether he's just an easy suspect nearby to close the case. She points out they've got a tracking device in his pocket, and he just pulls it out, and it's just this loose tracking device that they slipped in his pocket. That doesn't just seem the best way to track someone, just dropping it in the pocket. And this is where she reveals that she was the dead guy's granddaughter, and she wants to help him solve the murder, so she's breaking him out. She sends the police off by lobbing the tracker in a dump truck. And 99% of the police in the area begin to chase this dump truck while they sneak back to the body. They don't even try and leave. They just go back to the scene of the crime. Yeah, I'd noticed at this point how tall Tom Hanks's head looks with a widow's peak and mullet.
Yeah, what do you think of the haircut?
That was not a good haircut for him.
To my knowledge, the only movie had that type of hair in.
I think maybe the character in the book was described as having this hair, because it's not even like it's...
It looked so out of place, didn't it?
Yeah.
And he didn't have like a particularly striking aesthetic to suit it or anything.
No.
It was so distracting and out of place because Tom Hanks, he's huge and has the same hairstyle in every single thing he plays and morphs into the character he's playing regardless of his hair. So it's so weird that they were like, nah, no one's going to believe him as Robert Langdon unless we put this super distracting long hairdo on him.
Like, there's probably no other pictures of what Robert Langdon's meant to look like, so they probably would have got away with him just having, like, short back and sides.
Because historically, people that love books are very forgiving when you change what the main character looks like in a film.
Yeah. But yeah, they go back to the crime scene anyway after they've sent 99% of the police away. He pauses and says, wait a minute, like a 90s or an 80s detective in a cartoon. And she's like, Professor, what is it? And he goes, this is meaningless, unless. But he won't let on what he's thinking, because it's clear the writer doesn't know how this guy's brain works either. So he doesn't want to share with the audience how he does it. He just remembers what he sees and does the Sherlock Holmes magic solve thing in front of his eyes with the anagram. He cuts away to the police. They find the tracker in the truck and they're blown away by how intelligent this man is to have thrown a tracker out the window. Wow, this guy, he's Jason Bourne. And then again, he's using way too much UV. He's following it around, another anagram. And then, oh, it's Da Vinci again, blood again. This can't be. But again, doesn't share what he's thinking. It's just, when it's like something that's on the front page of Wikipedia, he's quite happy to tell you all about it. But when it involving, a bit of bilateral thinking, that's when he goes in his own head and goes a bit quiet. And it's like, the writer clearly just doesn't know how to explain it, and they've disguised it as, oh, he's just thinking, he's really busy thinking. But yeah, he just jumps to the conclusion magically. One policeman that got left behind finds them, so they threaten to stab the painting with this key they found, and then they leave the crime scene. They mention the secret society. They try to return to the embassy, but there's police waiting. So she reverses the car for about 6 miles at like 30 miles an hour back. There was a really strange lingering shot of a Les Mis poster. I don't know why that was.
Because that's also French. We're in France, Mark. They have no other shows.
I've realised how many films we've done that have a long scene in Paris.
Unnecessarily long scene in Paris.
There is a thing where movies that have, I know when movies have London in it, if they have things like London Bridge and the Eye in it for a certain amount of time, they can get tax breaks for the movie based on like tourism and stuff like that. So maybe it's similar in Paris.
A lot of action films spend a lot of time on that one street in Paris that is in every film. And then there's a flashback where he went to prison for a murder in what looks like the 18th century. And then you realise this is an origin story. He's not a time traveller.
Oh, it's unnecessary, isn't it? It's like, I don't give a shit about his origin story. He's just a device.
And then, this backstory. The bishop saved him. He saved the bishop. So he basically becomes this secret society's hitman.
Did they train him? Because he just killed one guy.
It doesn't like he did much fighting in prison either. They were just in like little cells. So where he got these skills from, I don't know.
Reading the Bible made him...
made him vengeful.
Read a book, increase your level, put it all in strength.
So he's in the church and he's following the rose line, solving this riddle that he's got from the dead guy. He smashes open the floor and finds what looks like a stone box of Quality Street with a Bible reference on it. And he's really pissed off at that.
Probably because there was sewing stuff inside it.
Police find the car. They cotton on to the decoy train tickets that they bought. So they're finally starting to display some common sense. They then realise they're on a treasure hunt, which we all knew. They talk about the mythical secret brotherhood who were murdered, but it was a myth. So they were murdered in the myth. I didn't understand. He kept saying it was a myth, but then kept saying they were murdered and that's why it's all true. And I didn't get it.
I think it was getting at is it the Priory of Sion? Is that what
yeah, that's it.
So the Priory of Sion that was like a legit hoax. And that was a hoax.
A legit hoax, yeah.
So that's like in true life, that was a hoax made up in like the 50s by some like French person that wanted to be of esteem in the aristocratic society. So he kind of like made up these people and made up some evidence that they existed, so that he could pretend he had some links to them, basically, and almost, not that he wanted to form a cult, he just wanted to have some esteem. And then that was debunked as a myth. But I think then where the movie is going is it's saying that everyone that debunked it has been murdered, so maybe it wasn't a myth. I think that's where it's meant to be trying to go in.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah.
Like you say, they weave in a little bit of real history here about the Crusades and the Knights Templar to make the audience think, what if? Then you start talking about the Friday the 13th, and she says it like it all makes sense now.
Utter bollocks, that bit.
Yeah.
Utter bollocks.
So it's meant to be the day the Knights Templar were all killed. There's meant to be a few other bad things that happen on Friday the 13th. Yeah. They analyze the key. They realize it's a key, which I'm pretty sure it was quite obvious it was a key. It looks like a key to me. And they were like, oh, it's a key. Wow. But they can't figure out what Haxo 24 means. And she says, oh, it's an address. And it feels a bit sloppy to put the address to the secret thing on the key that you find. But
no, that's why I've got my house key. It's just my address and postcode.
If you lose it, you want some.
if I return to the treasure chest under the...
Can't see any downside of that.
Cuts back to Paul Bettany, confronts the nurse. She goes, haha, tells him what the Bible verse says. It says, but no further.
Did you call her a nurse?
Oh, sorry, nun.
There we go.
Mark's kinks just overlapping there.
Yeah, so he confronts the nun. She says, Job 38:11, but no further. So basically saying you end of the line. He's not happy with that. Takes it all out on her. Smacks her in the head with the stone tin of Quality Street.
As you do.
Yeah, it sort of paints a picture of him being brutal and relentless. Cuts to the bishop, Doc Ock, arriving at the observatory for a secret meeting. Spills wine on the table for some reason to make some kind of point. But he wants to destroy the Holy Grail and give the Priory no reason to exist, is basically the plot we're getting at. So that's his reason for being at the moment. They follow the address on the key and they find that it opens something in a bank on a city street. The guy on reception just has the most wanted tab open on his computer already.
His Amazon wish list of criminals.
I just love how quickly the French government uploads that, because if I know our government, give it 7 to 10 working days, mate.
So the shady bank manager sends them on a crystal maze style puzzle to get the security box. They get it right first time because of the Fibonacci sequence, and he's a genius. They find a box with a rose on.
How did you know there was a rose on it?
It showed you, Reese.
Because it has a rose on it, and then even though they've both seen it for 3 seconds, he goes, a rose.
Wait a minute.
They've both
That's when
seen
I
it for like
realised
3
it was a
seconds,
rose.
and he goes, the rose. That's a symbol.
I know about symbol.
So the real clue is roses, but the fake clue is Quality Street.
Oh no.
Yes.
Now we're getting into the real conspiracy.
They're trying to be a hero.
It's all about the chocolate wars.
The whole movie was just made by
Don't get me
Cadbury.
started. Ugh. That gives me no reason to celebrations. Keep it. So the shady bank manager turns out he's a friend, and he helps them escape from the police when they turn up. But he needs to get put in a small space in order to escape. The bank manager poses as a driver from Zurich who doesn't speak French.
Sounds a bit German as well.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't looked it up, but I'm pretty sure most people in Zurich would speak French and German.
A Swiss version of French, but
Yeah.
it's mostly French there. As someone who's been to Zurich with someone who spoke French, we did all right.
Yeah. So we get more backstory from Paul Bettany, more self-flagellation as he thinks about how he's become a hitman for the secret church cult.
How did you feel about that character? Did you have a good time when he was on screen? Because I didn't.
He may as well have just been an anonymous hitman for the whole thing. Like, there was no reason to give him remorse and a backstory. It could have just been like spook. It could have been a group of people who just appeared every now and then to try and attack, and you didn't need to know who it was. Like,
Yeah.
Is he meant to be repenting for his sins when he's doing that?
yeah, he seems like he's got a lot of shame about what he does, but he's convinced he's doing it for God.
I think they still believe it's all sinning, but you can repent for those sins for the greater good of, whatever he thinks his greater goal is. But I think he still feels he has to repent for the sin of murder, which is where the sexy thing around his thigh comes in.
Yeah.
Which is a far too sexy scene. Like, the camera was slowly panning up his calf, up his thigh.
While he rolls down his stockings.
Why is this so hot?
Because it's Paul Bettany.
Fully, like, while he's whipping himself, just zooming in on his toes, curling as he's into it. Like, this is doing it for a lot of viewers. I know that for a fact.
So we're back in the truck. He's having a little mini panic attack. She hasn't once tried to open this box yet, which is bonkers to me. She has zero curiosity about this. He makes her try and open it to distract from the fact that he's pissing sweat and having flashbacks about being in Batman Begins. Yeah, you just get that little one frame sequence of him like stuck in a well, and it looks exactly like the backstory of Batman Begins. So she doesn't believe in God, but she has this magic calming technique that she learned from her dead mother, where she just strokes this man's temple. So they met hours ago? A couple of hours ago, just rubbing his head. Shocking no one, the shady bank manager betrays them. He's willing to deafen them with a gunshot that ricochets wildly around, but he's not willing to just shoot them.
Bad plan. Bad plan.
Yeah. There's loads of close-ups of that empty casing. It's like he clearly had to fire that shot to get that casing as a plot device that the door's not going to shut. But you know something's up because the camera just keeps zooming in on this casing getting lodged in the door. And it's just like, that's going to be important in a minute. But
Chekhov's casing.
But it's like Professor Hank starts to interrogate her because he's had a shit night. He thinks she's been chosen to continue the old museum boy's legacy. But conveniently, he has another friend nearby to head to who's going to help him with this. But the truck is now being tracked by GPS, we find out. So they go to his mate who lives nearby in a big old stately manor. So the plan at this point, he wants to go and hide out in this convenient Holy Grail expert's house that's nearby. Happens to be his good friend, while holding the clue to where the Holy Grail is, but doesn't want to say anything to his friend, who is definitely going to find out eventually. We cut back to the bishop and the captain. We find out they're in cahoots. I didn't guess that at that point, but I wasn't exactly shocked by it. I think the film wanted me to be. There was a bit of back and forth about what was true and what was myth, and I think that I was quite impressed by that. It was at least giving both sides of the story, but still leaving that big what if for the audience to give them some...
Sorry, is this the Council of Nicaea part?
Yeah.
Yeah, with T-Bing. Fucking T-Bing.
TV.
This friend's name is something T-Bing. It's like...
Nah, it's Gandalf, mate. So, yeah, that's the Council of Nicaea bit, and they were... There's some truth to it, but they weren't in, like, I don't know if anyone's an expert in Roman history or theology, but they weren't deciding if Jesus was holy or the Son of God at the Council of Nicaea. That was already a school of thought. They were just arguing about what the majority should be for the new Catholic Church, is my understanding. But they painted it out that they decided there and then that Jesus was special.
So I did a tiny bit of research on this until I got fed up and just went, nah. Train of thought was just they weren't accepting anymore because there were so many different...
Yeah.
There were a couple of different options that they went for, but it wasn't like, oh, we're going to kill all of these folk. It's just, oh, shouldn't do that anymore. That's naughty.
Yeah. Item 1's concluded, Jesus is the Son of God, right? Item 2, what day is Christmas?
Because they were on about how Constantine kind of was the guy that decided Jesus was divine.
Yeah.
What I'm seeing in front of me in Dictionary Corner is that... the novel claims that Constantine personally upgraded Jesus from being like... Because he was already like the highest level prophet there was. That was just kind of the known thing. Everyone appreciated that he seemed more holy. But then Constantine kind of upgraded him to say he was like Son of God level. That's what the book is trying to say.
Says,
but really it was kind of, everyone had already agreed there was something divine about Jesus, but there was a council brought together to try and decide how that divinity worked. Because obviously not witnessing it firsthand, there was a council there to go like, right, what actually do we mean by divine? What acts were divine and what acts weren't? And that's where they settled on the Arian approach, which is obviously what the novel is saying Constantine went with.
Dictionary Corner, how many councils of Nicaea were there? Because there was more than one, wasn't there?
Fuck you for asking.
You're actually going to look.
No. Not going to look.
But the part of this that was relevant to the plot of this film / book is they were deciding which gospels to include, and they made the point that some were excluded.
It was suggesting that the church just kind of picked 4 out of nowhere.
Yeah.
and that was because of the Nicene Council were just trying to hide something. But Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John they were canonically accepted centuries before this as the four Gospels. Like, other ones existed, but they were all kind of labelled as a bit fringe, and some even a little bit heretic. So, yeah, it wasn't anything to do with the mass conspiracy. It was no one person or council tried to decide, oh, we need to suppress these ones and big these four up. It was just they were the four that had the most teachings assigned to them and most people could resonate with.
The Gospel of Mary, I thought, is that real? Is that really a real thing? And I did a little bit of looking into it, and it said the Gospel of Mary is an early Christian text, first discovered in 1896.
Yeah, early Christian.
It's just so far after all of that shit. It's like, so what? They just found it. Somebody in 1896.
It wasn't like maliciously rejected by a council. It was just lost.
In 1896, how are they going to say, oh yeah, this is definitely real? It wasn't just written by my mate 10 years ago.
The council hid it because they didn't want you to know the truth. So they get taken into Gandalf's Da Vinci room, and they very, very slowly get to the point. And then Professor of Symbology comes into his own here, talking about male and female symbols. Spends a lot of time on the rudimentary phallus pose.
A triangle for those that can't see us. Which means everyone. Again, Mark is putting his hands in a triangle.
And at this point, then, is he going to imply the Holy Grail is Jesus' cock?
No, it's Mary's vagina. You disgusting man.
What? So did you think they preserved his dick after he died and just kept it in a jar of vinegar?
Yeah, just for a second, I was like, is it going to be his cock? But then, no, it's a woman.
Just what you call yours.
That would have made a better film.
Running through the streets of Paris with Jesus' cock under your arm, trying to get away from the police.
Oh, is that what the Da Vinci Treasure is in that other film? So what are we doing?
So it just talked about how, like, the Grail was famously this thing that was meant to be in the paintings, but actually it's a metaphor for woman, I think, is what they're trying to get at. And then it was trying to narrow down even more to say it was Mary, potentially Mary Magdalene,
and then
who is in the picture.
Yeah, and then you find out this picture they've been looking at is actually a screen that he's just got on all the time.
Oh, it's pre-planned PowerPoint presentation.
Yeah, he's got a PowerPoint presentation that draws lines around Mary Magdalene, draws a line around Jesus, makes them swap positions for some reason, so it looks like they're cuddling. I don't...
He just rotates between this one and the swastika one when he does his...
Yeah, and then they get to the conclusion, spell it out for the audience. Mary Magdalene was Jesus' wife, and therefore she's the Holy Grail. Gotcha. I thought, oh, good, we're near the end because they've revealed everything.
This film should have ended so many times.
Oh.
I think we're like 45 minutes in, aren't we?
It felt like so much more.
Yeah. They give a bit of backstory why this is bad for the church, because it would mean feminism.
Because right now it's completely fine.
It'd be really bad for the church if it turns out they might have accidentally killed a woman who was related to Jesus. Otherwise, it's fine to kill women.
Yeah, and otherwise the church has never like mistakenly caused the death of a woman ever.
No.
Yeah, I never quite got the whole, it'll be really bad for the church. I never quite got that.
Yeah, they accidentally decided that Jesus was more important than the women in his life. And they denied that he had a daughter because if he did, that mean women could have power in the church. And that's bad.
Yeah, basically every philosophy, hierarchy, organization, any value that has come from Christianity has started with that traditional idea of what woman should be and what man should be. So if that's changed at the fundamentals, then Christianity just goes, oh shit. Oh boy. Women are important, aren't they? We fucked up.
They say Jesus' kid was born in France. They may have a living descendant. It's like, oh, it's her then. It's her then, isn't it?
The only other character we know.
Yeah. Gandalf is then informed that Tom Hanks is on the news and he gets really angry. And it's when Paul Bettany, albino hitman, sneaks into the house in the background.
Oh, but he waits so nicely though, doesn't he?
Yeah. He's very good at just like waiting in the shadows until everyone's finished talking. He does that a couple of times.
For someone who really stands out, he is very, very subtle.
His skin reflects the moonlight.
Yeah, no one ever even points him out, and he's quite an interesting looking man.
The scarred albino guy that only speaks Latin.
And wears monk's robes.
And no shoes. You'd pick him out of a lineup, wouldn't you? Although I did think in the opening sequence of the film it was Lawrence Fox, because I just always get those two confused. They got similar faces.
Are we thinking of the same Lawrence Fox? I'm thinking of like a political commentator.
Yeah. Yeah, he was an actor at one point.
I didn't know Lawrence Fox used to be an actor.
Yeah, he was in Layer Cake. No, Wimbledon. Wimbledon he was in.
Paul Bettany was in Wimbledon.
No. What was Lawrence Fox in? See? They're the same guy.
Mandela effect.
Yeah. Yeah, Paul Bettany's such a fucking racist, actually.
Oh, did I have to put another time of recording?
At time of recording, Paul Bettany was not a racist.
Oh, shit.
Lawrence Fox was.
Was. Like, between then and now.
At time of recording, Lawrence Fox is still alive and still a racist.
Yeah, like we find out in a year's time he actually had a TBI and he was never a racist. Okay. I'm cutting all of that. Don't worry about that shit.
So Tom Hanks realizes her granddad was the Priory boss, and he whips out the rose box to get Gandalf back on their side now that he's realized he's harboring fugitives.
Probably somewhere.
He's whipping out a rose box, a euphemism.
She flung it open, was fidgeting with it, playing with it, trying to just guess the code. Whereas he's like got it under like an examination light and using tweezers to open the lever. It's like she's already opened and closed it like a fidget toy like 50 times at this point. And then he says, I believe the map to the Holy Grail is inside. And at that point I realised this is not over, is it? This is nowhere near over. So yeah, Gandalf tries to help them escape on their plane. They use the intercom to trick the cops to go upstairs in the house when actually they're in the garage. Those fucking idiots. The French FBI tactic is sending 99% of all resources to one location.
I hear there's a big sort of plot hole in this one where Gandalf actually could have put them on the plane at the beginning of the movie and they would have been able to get to Mount Doom without.
Of course they escape in a Land Rover because he's old and British. Paul Bettany wakes up in the back of the Land Rover. I found it very weird that they brought him.
Every adventure needs a wild card.
Yeah, it must have took a bit longer to escape carrying an unconscious monk.
He's the kind of character you'd want on your side, though, I guess. Like a bit of a psycho monk.
Just unleash him.
Sneak in the shadows, yeah.
So they're escaping to Zurich on a private plane now, but Interpol know that they've put the flight plan in. There's a bit about the bishop getting money for something. I probably missed something really important in the plot, but I doubt it. So this is the first time they actually sit down and try and figure out what the code might be for the box. At this point, I start to think she knows it because there's loads of reference to like games she played with her granddad when they were little, songs she learned. So I was like, oh, she's going to just like have an epiphany and remember one of those songs. And that's going to be the answer at this point. Because that's how these films usually go.
It's that scene from The Pacifier where Vin Diesel is like hopping through the garage to avoid. No, just me? Okay.
No, we haven't seen that.
But on the list.
On the list. But then he just popped the disc off the box. I realised at this point, like, this isn't like an old antique box that's been carrying this for years. This is something that's been made like recently because it's all like shiny brass and varnished wood. The plane's been diverted to London because they've got some new clues and the generic globetrotting adventure commences. But they go to a medieval church in London. Tom Hanks starts to do some serious thinking. So he's pulled some obscure facts out to impress the ladies, but he's careful not to speak in like a non-jargon terms when he's talking to his other professor friend. They're just shouting facts at each other. Tom Hanks doesn't think these are the tombs that they want because he's found a tourist pamphlet. He just picks up, like, they're having a big old think about it, and then he picks up this pamphlet that he finds on the bench, and then he's like, oh, we're in the wrong place. Do you care to elaborate? It just doesn't really.
When you will watch it at this point, right, what do you think they're looking for?
I wasn't quite sure. Like, I know that they've explained it. Like, right, we're after the Holy Grail. The Holy Grail is not a cup, it's a woman. I was like, okay, well, what are we looking for? Like, is it a bag of bones? Is it a coffin? Is it what are we actually?
That's exactly the same. I was like, what are we looking for here? Like, is there going to be a tomb with like a picture of a cup on it, or is someone buried with a cup? Are we just looking for someone's body, and then what are we going to do with it? Like, what's the aim here? I couldn't get my head around it, and I still can't, to be honest. It's bullshit. You still don't know what they were looking for. and then what they were going to do with that when they found her.
Yeah, and he's still doing that thing where he's keeping his thought process and showing his working to himself. He's quite happy to tell you, oh, this castle was built in such and such. That's the tomb of such and such. That symbol means this. But then when he's figured something out, he's like, oh, I figured it out.
Yeah.
Follow me. And it's like,
Dan Brown can't Google how to solve a puzzle, but he can Google when that church was built.
Yeah, he can't design an escape room, but he can read Wikipedia. She starts to get negative vibes, and we can see that, Bettany's doing his thing, or he's standing in the background, patiently waiting for them to stop talking before he attacks them. Because they pause for a few seconds, he takes his chance, bum rushes her with a knife. And then the butler runs in, and Tom Hanks is like, oh, thank God you're here to help us. And not questioning at all how Paul Bettany escaped or anything like that. Are we meant to be shocked that the butlers betrayed him here? Because I thought it was quite obvious at this point that was going to happen. Is this where Gandalf gets bitch slapped?
Yeah.
She gets thrown on the ground.
Yeah.
And there's a weird camera angle of her scraping her knee on an effigy. And I was like, oh, is that going to be important? And it just wasn't. She just hurt her knee.
Very little in this film is important.
In the middle of a tense standoff, the bells ring, and that gives them a chance to escape into a crowd of nuns outside. So yeah, the butler reveals he's the teacher, thanks Bettany for his service. Paul Bettany's really sad that he can't help him find the Grail. Jumps back to Tom Hanks and the only woman in the film on a bus. I had a prediction here that he'd sort of remember something about how the body is positioned or something that was a clue that he missed. Can't even remember if that matters anymore.
Nothing matters anymore.
Nothing at all links back to that dead body from the start. She flirts with that guy to get a library card, she says, but then she just steals his phone.
Oh, she cost that poor guy so much using the internet on your phone back then.
Roaming as well.
Everyone's just watching this woman flirt on a bus. All the extras are just staring at her. Found out the butler is not actually the teacher, he's just a middleman. And so at this point, I was like, oh, so Gandalf's the teacher then, because, he's a professor, he's literally a teacher. And then it was meant to be a shocking reveal when it panned up to him. I was like, no, it's just wasn't.
So Ian McKellen's got a big part in this. Who would have thought?
As the smart guy. He dobs him into the police on the butler's phone, and the police are just like, okay with the idea of Opus Dei? And it's like, oh yeah, sure. They get off the bus at the next tourist hotspot for tax break. They're going to Westminster Abbey for Isaac Newton's and Alexander Pope are mentioned, a Pope, and like, yeah. And it's all very Assassin's Creed at this point, isn't it? They're just linking conspiracy theories together to say, like, and this is why we have to assassinate.
What do you mean at this point it's been Assassin's Creed all the way through?
Yeah, true. But they're just dumping facts, thinking out loud so the audience can keep up with the clues that are being pulled out of thin air. I can't even remember where they got a Pope from. Was that on the brass plaque in the box?
Yeah, it says that on there, but the reason he thought of Alexander Pope was because that random guy whose phone he's racking up a massive bill on goes, oh, it's a syntax issue, because you see, you're putting a Pope, and that's bringing up Alexander Pope. You need to be a bit more specific. It was such a jarring bit.
So dumb. Right, that makes more sense. He's not just pulling out of thin air, at least. But, it's still dumb. So they get to Isaac Newton's grave, and she spots trap marks in the dust, and she goes, oh, Gandalf's been here. And then he just turns up and goes, yes, I'm here. Okay. Why was that needed? He takes them hostage at a public place, leading them off with his cane, I guess. Bettany's about to whip himself again in the safe house, but then the police show up.
You said that as if he can't resist. Like he's like his main aim in this whole movie is to whip himself, and like every other character's just trying to get in the way of that.
Yeah,
like he's there whipping himself, and then he gets a call like, "Sorry, mate, I know you're busy, but you need to go do another murder." He's like, I've not done enough whips yet.
So has he brought a travel whip with him? Because the last time he was doing this was in France.
He bought it in the airport next to Travel Ludo.
Next to the little toothpastes.
You can buy like a mini Bible with a travel whip.
Because this isn't his safe house, it's just some random safe house.
Yeah, this is what he's been dumped at, and he's going to whip in it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's all got a bit wrong, but then they realise Gandalf's betrayed them, and the Opus Dei branch of Grail Hunters seems to have ended there. The captain realizes he's been used by the bishop. The bishop says, I can't be implicated here, to the police officer he betrayed in front of several people who speak English, including a paramedic extra who's just like pretending not to hear. The hostage situation in Westminster Abbey. Gandalf's bragging about how he's tricked everyone. And it feels like we're reaching the end now. All the threads have led to this point. The betrayals have been revealed. The baddie has them in a room and they're trying to solve the final riddle. How is there 40 minutes left? She refuses to open the Rubik's Cube, claims she doesn't know still. She starts to get a bit panicked. The guy who teaches symbols says she can't do it, but give me a moment.
Because I'm a man.
Just snatches it off her and then he just like stares into space, keeping all his thoughts to himself. Starts to show like the puzzle is fucking mind palace without any explanation of how. But then he says, oh, I'm sorry, I can't do it. He solved it. I expect him to turn around and go, sorry, you're such a loser, and smash it on the floor, which is almost what he did. So he lobs it in the ground, making him dive for it so they can make their escape. And they arrest Gandalf. They go in to interrogate them. They reconcile with the captain. He apologizes. They're all cool now. The captain tells them how many people the monk had killed and how he was struggling to solve all these murders. He apologizes and lets them go. And then he says, that's why we study history, so we stop killing each other, which is very corny. Was Dan Brown a history teacher? Is this just him trying to make history teachers cool?
The fact that you're getting anything about Dan Brown from this, all I'm getting is that he doesn't know how to finish a story.
Well, they wrote 2 other books.
Dan Brown is not a historian. You'll be surprised to hear. He studied English and art history at Amherst College and has a strong interest in Renaissance art, cryptography, and symbology.
That must be how he knows about Da Vinci.
I realised after they let them go, the police had just been doing all these interviews in Westminster Abbey. They've just been interrogating suspects inside like really famous church that had loads of tourists coming in and out.
Well, they're not actually in Westminster Abbey, you know. Not actually in Westminster Abbey.
Is this where you say it's not actually Big Ben's the bell?
No, just that Westminster Abbey said, no, you absolutely can't film that heretic shit here.
Oh, really?
They were like, you want to say what about the fucking Christian church? No, you can't come into the most holy building in London. Fuck off. So yeah, they were not allowed to film in Westminster Abbey. Instead, they filmed in Lincoln Cathedral.
This says they were allowed to film some parts in Westminster Abbey.
The exterior shots, they were allowed inside.
So they could stand outside and take pictures.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's really hard to dress up Lincoln Cathedral as Westminster Abbey from the outside. Not as difficult inside.
Lincoln Cathedral's on a hill, like.
Why do you know so much about Lincoln Cathedral, Mark?
Also, really, everyone knows it's on a hill, guys.
I used to live like 25 minutes from Lincoln, so I've seen it.
I don't know what the fuck. What's 25 minutes away from where I live?
I've been to Lincoln. I rented a van from there, all right?
Used to finger girls in the graveyard.
Anyway.
I've lost a place now. I didn't finger anyone in Westminster Abbey.
Just cutting that one bit. That's your intro to the episode.
So Gandalf accuses him of taking the scroll out, and he just looks really smug. So they read the riddle that's inside. They realise Rosalind, Rose, it's Mary Magdalene's original chapel. And they're just in no rush to go inside this church at the end of this journey. They're just like dawdling up to it again.
They're like, surely it's ended now, guys. Let me go home.
Yeah. He nerds out over the decor, saying, oh yeah, this is amazing. Love all these symbols. But she's creeped out because she recognises it. They find the Star of David, and then they realise it's the pagan symbol for, male and female overlapping.
They've already said that as well. Like,
yeah.
He said that right at the beginning.
They don't trust the audience to be following along at this point.
I mean, I wasn't. I've seen this movie lots of times. When I tried to watch it last week and the week before, I fucking didn't. It was on. But I was like, how am I still... I can remember what happens more or less, but I can't follow this bullshit.
I've already seen it and I don't know what's going on.
Literally, yeah.
The curator looks a bit suspicious. To me, he's acting like he thinks they're trying to sneak off to fuck in one of the back rooms or something, and that's why he's following them. Like, you can't do that.
Probably had too many people getting fingered in there.
You'd be surprised how often it happens.
Mark's got his picture on the wall in there.
Do not let this man in.
and whatever tortured goth girl he brings with him.
And then they find stairs underneath a rug. And it's like, how has no one ever moved that rug? But then it's actually quite a modern office underneath when they go down. And then they realise the Grail was here, but it's been moved. Cuts away to burly men turning up outside the chapel while Tom Hanks is busy looking at old scrolls. She reveals a time when she had a falling out with her granddad because she wanted to know about her dead parents, and the granddad kept getting angry about it. And then she saw her granddad doing a pagan sex ritual, and that's the reason she ran away from home. But I mean, that would haunt anyone.
Yeah, I don't want to see my granddad.
Yeah, nobody wants that. It's not on anyone's list of top 10 things to see walking on your granddad doing, is
Then
it?
you find out it's okay because it's not actually a granddad.
Oh yeah, makes it fine.
Yeah.
It was an old man who's not related to her, which is all right then.
So because they're going through the family tree, and they go, oh, she was a Saint Clair, so she's a descendant of Saint David, and therefore she's probably Jesus. She was abducted from a real family because she's the Holy Grail. She's got the bloodline, blah, 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 blah. And the burly men are actually there to guard/worship her because it's the priory. And then a real Nan comes out the crowd. And that's meant to be a big shock.
I still don't know what that means at this point, her being the Holy Grail.
She's descended from Jesus.
Yeah, but like, no one can evidence that.
I think that's why they're trying to find the body.
Yeah.
Prove it.
To what? They haven't got Christ's blood to test it against.
Yeah, they want to DNA test Mary Magdalene's corpse to find out if they're related.
But it just proves she's related to Mary Magdalene.
Right.
You know, the prostitute, yeah? Mary Magdalene? Yeah. She had sex with someone. Might have been Jesus.
She probably hasn't got that many descendants.
No.
Yeah, wild.
Yeah, not quite sure.
Film's not over yet, though, somehow.
So no one knows where the sarcophagus is at this point, and so no one can prove she's related or if any of it's relevant. He doesn't care. So the most logical man in the film, the autistic, logic-driven guy, says, whatever you think, that's all that matters. So he's an atheist academic, and he's actually explaining how they both believe in the divine sometimes, and maybe she is actually Jesus because she's healed his anxiety by rubbing his face once. And she bribed that addict on the bench. That's something Jesus would do. That's the point he makes.
Deeply upsets me. Like, both of those things were entirely manufactured by him.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, those are signs that, in the last day I've known you, you've basically done the Bible. So, yeah, must be you, GZC.
And then he just casually gives her a hug, kisses her on the forehead. You know, you might be descended from Jesus, just give her a kiss.
Stay on the good side for now. She might have all hosted burly men on her side in 10 minutes. So, yeah, stay on a good books.
She jokes about walking on the water, turning water to wine, and then she heads back inside, and that's the last we see of her. There is one last scene, back in Paris at the Ritz. Presumably this is where he was staying before his lecture. So he cuts himself while shaving, he watches the blood drip, and then he suddenly has a realization, and he reads his own book again to make sure he's right, and he gets reminded the Rose Line exists, which is the line that runs north to south through the centre of Paris. He does his own little mini treasure hunt in the middle of the night in Paris, following all these gold plaques back to the gallery where he first noticed those pyramids he was interested in. And then he realizes Mary Magdalene's buried under a tiny pyramid in the Louvre. Louvre. Yes. Just suddenly then he looks really young and confused. Like, it looks like his character from Big for a second. And then he just collapses on top of the glass, and that's the end of the film, as it pans down to a sarcophagus under the ground. I expected more of a setup to the sequel, but it ends, so I'm happy with that.
It doesn't have an ending, but it ends.
It does stop playing.
Did you know that can happen at any point if you just press stop?
It did.
That was it. I haven't missed any major...
You could have just not talked about half of that and you wouldn't have missed any major plot points, mate.
I can go into the predictions. So I've just been looking over what you thought before you watched it, and to be fair, some of them were pretty spot on. You had the prediction that it would be some kind of national treasure globetrotting Renaissance puzzle to find treasure that Da Vinci has hidden. So you're kind of half right there. We had a bit of globetrotting if you can count Paris to London as globetrotting.
Yeah, I expected more locations, to be honest. I mean, they almost went to Zurich.
Yeah.
Didn't.
You were spot on with the protagonist being smarter than the writer.
Just lore dumping really basic facts, then being dumbfounded and quiet when he's doing some puzzles in his head. Like, yeah. Please show you're working.
And then your last prediction was that it would be tongue-in-cheek, but trying to be serious about conspiracies that can't happen.
No, it was deadpan. It fully believed in itself. It was...
Maybe a little bit too deadpan.
I think this movie bred a whole host of people that thought this could happen. I remember people I've grown up with went to see this before me and then were just convinced it was all fact. I've had conversations with adults about The Last Supper that are just the scene in this.
And they tell you this, like, I've got an original idea in my head about The Last Supper, and it's exactly this.
Yeah.
There's not many points between this and Joe Rogan starting a podcast, I'm sure.
But the whole point of this is, like, if they find this out, it'll set humanity free because of the evils of the church. How many Christians are there in the world versus non-Christians? So this reveal will not affect 70% of the population.
Yeah.
I think that his view of the world is probably the world he cares about.
It's very Eurocentric, isn't it?
Yeah. 28.8% of the world is Christian. A little bit over a quarter will care.
Then
Yeah.
everyone else will just be like, Sam, mate, don't care. So I'll just go back to work.
Yeah.
See you later.
Yeah, but when they care, they care.
Right, Crusades, lads.
Yeah, if it had all been uncovered like pre-Crusades, fantastic. Like, everyone is free.
Would have saved a lot of bother.
Bother. Bother's a good word. Bother's probably what they called it. Crazy bit of bother in Constantinople today.
Based on, I'll say what kind of genre this is. It's kind of like a puzzle, as you said, mystery, bit of danger in there. Is that something that I don't know if we'd cover this in the pre-watch. Is this the kind of film that you'd watched a lot in the past?
But I am a big fan of National Treasure.
Oh, yeah.
I did like them. And yeah, there were parts of this that did remind me of the Bourne films as well. You know, it's like, it's a smart, highly trained guy globe-trotting to evade capture and try and, you know, complete his objective while the police are after him and there's hostile agents after him. And it's exactly like the Bourne films in that regards. But you can believe Bourne was a smart guy or a well-trained, skilled guy, whereas this guy is just reading Wikipedia to the audience.
And with characters like Bourne, you can see their smarts. You see him create MacGyver-style inventions to get himself out of
You
the
can
trap.
see how his training has led to him being able to do that. You don't, yeah.
You're not just like seeing him think about something.
Oh no, the police are coming! Quick, cut the camera away for 20 seconds. Come back when I set up the bomb.
Yeah, it's like his power is very much intrinsic, and he heavily relies on everyone else because he's not athletic. He can't kill people, but he's in this action environment where he has to like avoid death loads.
He's not the main character. He doesn't help solve the puzzles as much as I thought he would. He's just sort of there, like catalyzing the whole thing. Like the story's from his perspective, but he's not that important to it. He just leads people who are important to each other, and
so he's
role.
Some sort of catalyst, but a really boring one.
Yeah.
He's the guy in the escape room where, like, when they can't work it out and they press the button for help, he just comes through on the speaker and goes, "The answer is Fibonacci sequence."
So, do you want to know why they cast Tom Hanks in this specific role?
It is a bit weird because he was doing a lot of good films around that time.
They actually picked him because they thought this might have been a bit of a controversial film, you know, with all the Christianity in it and whatnot. So they thought, if we can cast Tom Hanks and give him a fuck ton of money, that'll help, you know, give a bit of credibility towards the film and maybe stop a little bit of the backlash. Because everyone loves Tom Hanks, right?
Was there a lot of backlash?
The churches hated it.
Yeah, but the church hates most films.
Yeah, well, the Vatican and Catholic groups condemned it as blasphemy, and there were a lot of protests, and some countries banned it, and a couple of the Middle Eastern countries limited its distribution or like edited it to get rid of certain scenes. So internationally, yeah, a lot of people thought this was a taboo film, I guess.
So they couldn't watch the extended edition. That was it.
Yeah, I was going to say, I do wonder if these people who had an edited version, were their version better than our version? Did it make more sense?
More concise. I mean, the church has also condemned Harry Potter. So
you tend to find that church pushback usually helps sales because when that dies down, there is a spike.
Oh, also, critics panned this film, despite how popular and how many people went to see it. They said it was slow and self-serious.
Yes, correct. Objective truth. Yeah. There's too many red herrings, too many things that don't matter. The characters just aren't believable. Like, you don't feel like any of them matter to the plot at all. They're just sort of 2D catalysts to get things moving.
Yeah, I remembered enjoying this movie. I said in the pre-watch, I've seen it loads, but then when I actually watched it last week, I say watched it, I put it on, I realised it's been a decade since I've seen it, at least. But I've just seen it loads then. But then watching it 10 years later, I'm like, nah, I'm maybe I'm a bit smarter than I was 10 years ago. I doubt it. But it just seemed stupider, and it seemed like it went less places, and I feel like I expect more from a film now. And like, as you say, the characters, there's no one to relate to. There's no one you're rooting for, really. It's like vaguely Sophie, but even then you're just kind of like, I don't know her. I've just met her when I'm in the middle of her life. I only know what she said to Robert briefly about her backstory. See, she's the only person you can be like, oh, she's probably neutral good here.
Yeah.
Everyone else just seems to have a weird stake in it. And you're like, I don't really know what the stake is. Don't really know if I need them to find the Grail. Don't really know what the Grail is. Don't really know if I like any of them. Just watching it happen.
Yeah, like does this film believe that Jesus did have magic powers and now she's got them? Does this film believe that? Or is it just...
I think so. That being part of that bloodline makes you magic.
The whole drive is, if they can prove she's related to Jesus, therefore patriarchy is gone bye-bye. It doesn't say one way or another whether they believe Jesus was magic.
Yeah, the assumption would be that if all these people are going to worship her for being descendant of Jesus, they believe she is capable of something that other people aren't, maybe?
Just the ability to calm Tom Hanks down.
Does she make the Pope irrelevant? Like, does she kind of usurp him?
The example they give is like witchcraft trials and stuff. Is like, they would be really embarrassing for the church if they find out, Jesus had a female. It's basically their motivation for covering
Jesus
it up.
never went around saying burn all the women. So I don't understand.
No, he was pro-sex worker. He's a feminist.
No, people wouldn't lie about their interpretation of the Bible. Don't twist their words, aren't it? Christianity's quite clear-cut in what's right and wrong.
Not much room for interpretation.
No.
But yeah, I do feel like if in a world where a descendant of Jesus exists, you don't need those voices of the church anymore, because you've got a voice of the OG. So you no longer need like bishops and all the way up to the Pope, because you don't need that. You've just got a person you can go and ask and be like, oh, what would your great uncle have said?
Hey, I don't got any more questions.
Are you excited for the sequels?
I don't want to watch the sequels. I'm not watching them.
Okay, fair. I'm going to guess from that you didn't love this film. Like, give us a rating out of 10.
It held my attention, but it also felt like homework. I didn't find it believable or exciting, mostly predictable. A few of my predictions were actually more interesting than what happened.
100%. When you made your predictions, I was like, I should watch National Treasure.
Yeah, I'd say maybe a solid 4 out of 10.
This is going to be the scale that we base all of the films off,
everything's
Mark.
Off the Da Vinci Code now.
4 feels right.
Okay.
It's not absolutely awful. It's definitely just not for me.
Sonir didn't want you to help guard the secret of the Holy Grail. Sophie, you are the secret.
Non, c'est pas possible.
You are the heir. The end of the bloodline. You are the last living descendant of Jesus Christ.
Thanks for joining us on a journey through secret societies, claustrophobic crypts, terrible puzzles, mysterious UV pens, and albino monks getting whipped for reasons no one can really remember. The Da Vinci Code promised intrigue and mystery, but mostly delivered confusion, a bit of bad acting, and a lot of why are we still watching this moments. Hopefully we haven't annoyed too many secret societies, and if we have, well, this has been fun. See you all next time. Bye.
See you later.
See you next time.
Bye.
stories we have yet to find. It's the Dead Live Cinema Club. We've seen some things, but we haven't seen enough. With popcorn dreams and midnight screens, we're chasing scenes through broken beams.